Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Line Change, the NHL betting podcast from the Action Network. My name is Michael Leboff, and joining me for this hour preview of the 4 games on Wednesday, October the 16th is Nick Martin. And Nick, just 4 games, as I said, so we can dive right in. We'll start with a showdown between the Buffalo Sabres and Pittsburgh Penguins in Pittsburgh. Sabres right now sitting plus 115, Penguins minus 138, total 6.5. I think it's pretty simple. I think the Sabres are a good bet here. I don't understand the number all that much. I wouldn't be shocked if they close. If it comes down, so I would try to get make sure you shop around and get the best of it. But I like the Sabres at plus 105 or better here. There's been some good things from Pittsburgh, but also still some glaring red flags through their first handful of games. But am I wrong in saying that I think the Sabres are a little bit better team right now?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that far. I think glaring red flags on the Pens seems a little harsh. I thought they played Toronto pretty well. The Wings, the Canadians, was really just that Rangers one that was pathetic. But with that said, I'm still with you here. I think the main summary of my argument is I think that the Sabres have been better than they're getting credit for. Nobody wants to beat the drum for a Sabres team that's kind of been pathetic year after year. They're fighting at practice, which I don't think is that big a deal or a bad thing, really. And you look at their games, like I think 3 of them have visually looked fine. I thought the Kings game was probably one of the most unlucky losses I've ever seen. And then that was part of the reason I liked them the next night versus the Panthers. And they played really well and got a win. I thought in the one Prague game, they were pretty good. The other one was kind of pathetic. So you look at it, I think 3 out of the 4 games have been pretty respectable. The Sabres were a team that kind of nobody knew which way they were going to go this season. So I like Buffalo here. I'm with you. I think that it's a pretty good number, and they are priced a little wide. And the other thought that I have is I kind of like Buffalo. You can bet them to win and the game to go over 6.5 at plus 320. I think that's another fun angle. I know you really believe that the Penguins' defensive flaws could be the reason they fall apart this season. I don't have the same conviction as you, but I think that is still going to be the way they're going to lose more nights than not based off their defending and goaltending. So I think that's like a decent look in terms of, you're getting such a long number to just target the game script where Buffalo has a good offensive performance. So yeah, I think I'm with you on the Sabres, and I think a shot on the Sabres to win while the game going over is also worth a look.
Yeah, I would say that the red flags I was alluding to would be the goaltending and the fact I still don't trust the defense, the blue line. A hat tip to the way Evgeny Malkin has started the season, though. Next up is the Kings and Toronto Maple Leafs. Los Angeles plus 136 coming off of that bizarre contest in your nation's capital, Ottawa. 8-7 that finishes in overtime. The Leafs have really done a good job of just taking care of business so far. They've been pretty impressive despite the fact that it's taken a few games for their best players to start producing actual results. They've been good. They just haven't hit the score sheet like we're used to seeing. They're minus 164 here. Kings 136. The total 6.5. I think it's going to be tight. I was tempted to go with the way you're going in terms of just like betting the game. I also have my long shot goal scorer for this Wednesday night slate will come in this game. So I'll just hold my thoughts on that one for a little bit. But yeah, I think it's tight, and that would push me towards the Kings a little bit. But I do think what you're going to say maybe is a better avenue here.
Yeah, I'm interested in the tie here. I think that the way the Kings are playing, that's going to always keep a lot of ties in play. And I just don't hate it as a spot considering the number of plus 370. So I kind of think we'll see both teams bring it and play sharp. The one concern that I have right now, as of recording on Tuesday, I kind of see this as maybe a spot where you go to Rittich, who was pretty good last season, but I think I would still prefer to see what they decide on there and where the market moves as a result. Because so far, through 2 games, Kemper was great. I was ready for one of our long shot Vezina calls to actually give us a good run. And he had such a horrid showing in Ottawa, where I think the Kings were obviously a big part of the problem. But now his numbers through 3 games are just not good, which sucks because I actually felt like we had a good start on that. But yeah, it feels like you come off that game where Kemper got completely lit up and you haven't given Rittich a start yet. Anyways, I could see this being one where they decide to give Big Save Dave a chance. So keep that in mind. But I think the tie is a good look. And then the other one we'll go into later. I targeted it last game. My Leafs Nation article was on Matthew Knies to score, which for the second straight one, and he did come through in that game. And I still want to bet on that line continuing to be productive. The Matthews Marner Knies line. They've generated 4.79 expected goals per 60 this year, which is third among any unit to have played 20 minutes together. And I think they've looked that good. They hit 3 combined posts in the first 2 games, which kind of hid their overall process. I wasn't surprised to see them break through. And I think if we see Rittich here, we should see a fairly productive game. So I think this could be the night for Matthews to snap out of his scoring slump. But we'll see. Goal score lines aren't out yet. And who knows if that'll be like so obvious that it's minus 140 or something. But I'm hoping that there'll be some minus 120s out there. And I would then play those.
The Colorado Avalanche are in a weird way right now, coming off of a loss to the mighty Islanders on Monday night. They've now lost all 3 of their games. They haven't got a point, giving up tons of goals. I actually don't think Georgiev was like terrible against the Islanders. I think like a couple of the goals ended up looking really silly, but like the Palmieri one was kind of just a bad break. I thought the poke check was the right decision. It just hit off Palmieri's skate right to his stick. That said, like it's the depth of the roster at this very moment that's concerning for Colorado, which is now hosting Boston on Wednesday night. The Avs are minus 126. The Bruins are plus 105. Total here 6.5. I think the Bruins are going to attract a ton of attention at this price, given how Colorado's looked. I wouldn't go that far because I feel like they have not been all that sharp either. I don't think like Boston's coming in as like some juggernaut right now, and it's always tough, or it should be tough to go on the road to play Colorado. As long as they get the goaltending to be like just average, they should give any team trouble. And also that game on Monday night, like the Avalanche just made some mistakes like that I've never seen Cale Makar make, and I've never seen Nathan MacKinnon miss like the chances that he was generating. So I don't hate backing MacKinnon, maybe like a MacKinnon hat trick here, or Makar to score 2+, something where one of these guys just tries to drag this team into the fight. I also think it wouldn't be shocking if Jared Bednar plays them an incredible amount given their 0-3. So for now, I'll say like in all likelihood, I'm going to bet the MacKinnon hat trick. That's what I'm leaning towards. It's like a long shot here because I do think that's how this game is going to go. It's like the Avalanche just put their cards on the table with MacKinnon, Makar, Rantanen, and hope for the best because they're now missing Lehkonen, Drouin, Devon Taves missed the last game. I mean, even Calvin DeHaan. It's a mess right now. That goes with Nichushkin and Landeskog too. So what are your thoughts here? I think this is a classic game where I wouldn't want to bet your money on the money line on either money line, but I do think that an Avs big gun steps up here.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's interesting because from the Avs perspective, on top of all the talent that's out of the lineup, they're clearly just out of rhythm. And I guess that's what happens when you have, you're subbing in Ross Colton on the top line. You don't have Taves out there with Makar stabilizing, all these things that are going on. And we've seen year after year from the Avs that this is a team, the way they want to play, the way they want to drive the play up the ice, possess the puck, and generate chances. It looks so good when it works, and it looks so horrible when it doesn't work. And right now it's just not working. They're out of rhythm. But you look at the Bruins side of things, and I'm bitter here because I bet them Monday morning in what I thought was a perfect spot to finally get some small measure of revenge versus the Panthers, who didn't have Barkov or Kachuk. And the Bruins lost that game too. I didn't think they were all that great in the Kings game. They beat Montreal back-to-back. They looked horrible versus Florida on opening night. So my kind of theory that the Bruins would be worse this year, I'm feeling pretty good about. I don't think they've really done anything to make me feel differently on that. So that's kind of why I'm not that interested on backing the 2-2 Bruins in a spot where it feels like we're really hearing a lot of noise about how big of a shit show the Avs have been. But I don't really think the Bruins have proven anything to me here to want to take on this number either. So I think I'm kind of seeing it more or less the same way as you. I wouldn't hate betting on some of those top Av stars to have a good game. And yeah, I don't think this is like a smash spot to just take on Boston when they're like just a short underdog here versus an Avs team that's kind of going through it right now.
The Utah Hockey Club flies back out west after their sojourn through the New York metro area. It ended with a loss to the Devils in a matinee on Monday. Now they go to Manhattan Beach, Anaheim, to take on the Ducks. The Ducks are plus 110 at home. Utah minus 130. Total here is 6.5. I got nothing in this game. I don't think there's much that I want to even add to it, so I'm happy to just kick it to you.
Yeah, I was thinking this would end up being like a fun game to bet on, two teams that I'm expecting to want to watch this year, but the price looks pretty sharp. I kind of thought we'd see the Ducks end up being a bigger underdog here with how things have gone and then maybe get on them, but I didn't really have anything jump out at me from this one either.
You just said you passed, right? That's what it sounded like.
I did. Sorry, and the other thing
Okay.
I'll slide in there, I thought the Ducks would have some guys that I really wanted to bet in the prop market, but the way they're skating right now, like this is why I think that they're should be better than people kind of suggest, but they have such like their top nine is kind of like 3 second lines, and I'm like, I don't know what kind of usage we're gonna get, and it just feels like I'm like I don't know which like I wanted to target Zegras early on this year, but his usage seems like it could be hit or miss. And then same thing with Cutter. He kind of didn't look great in those first two games. He's skating on what's technically the top line, but the third line has Strome and Vetrano and Terry, who are obviously kind of valued as veterans on the team. So it just feels like one of those ones where you might kind of want to wait and see how things are going to shake out a little bit for the time being.
Okay, before we get to our best bets, let's talk about some long shot anytime goal scorers that we like. You can go first.
Okay, yeah, I've been keeping it a little lame on these. Our plan was to try to go past plus 500, but I'm not going to be doing that again. But I hopefully it'll work out because I like the guy that I've got here. I think Dylan Cozens has played really well to start this season. I think he's clearly been one of the guys who's showing some fight on that team. That's really saying like we're not going to be a joke again this season. I think it's showed in his game. I've liked the way he's competed, even though he hasn't really racked up points or goals. So I'm expecting him to be around plus 300 based off the way he's been priced recently and the fact that the Sabres are now like they're just as big an underdog in this game as they have been in most of them. So yeah, I'm going to go with Dylan Cozens to find the net.
I'll go a little longer, I'd assume, at least. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, I'm certain he'll be at least scratching the double digits in anytime goal scoring odds. He should be running that Leafs top power play as long as the other thing we should have noted, by the way, in that Leafs preview is that it does seem like there's an illness going through their room, Tavares, the Nylander, etc. So as long as all things being equal, he should be running that top power play unit. He was promoted earlier. It's not set the world on fire, but just lining up there with Nylander, Marner, and Matthews should give him every chance to outrun these odds and get looks that are good enough. Hopefully, if he gets a breakaway, he doesn't do what he did against the Canadians and skate to the corner for whatever reason he did. That was crazy. But yeah, so I'll go OEL as my long shot anytime goal scorer. Bringing us to best bets, I think it's pretty clear both of us really like the Sabres. I was on the rundown sheet first, so I'll nod the Sabres first. I think that this number is a little long on them, considering where we both have them ranked compared to Pittsburgh. And as you said, the record doesn't look great for Buffalo, and there's going to be a ton of pressure on them in the early going to scratch their way back into relevancy, considering the baggage of the playoff drought. But they really haven't played that poorly, and I do like their depth. I like their blue line better than Pittsburgh, and I like their goaltending. So I think getting Buffalo here as an underdog, they're plus 115 at the time of recording, is my favorite bet on the board. But I know you like that one too, so I'm forcing you to go somewhere else.
Yeah, I like that one too. And the other note, we didn't really. I feel like we kind of talked about their schedule, but they've gone Devils twice, Kings, and Panthers. So 4 clear playoff teams, I think, has also hurt the look, especially when you consider they have owned more of the play in those games, and they're still this bad. Like, it's kind of crazy because they've owned more of the play, and their goalies have looked pretty good, and we're sitting here saying that they're 1-3. So I like the case for them there. And then on the short slate, it's a little annoying because we're sitting here speculating the number, but I'm going to go with Austin Matthews to score at what will hopefully be -120 or better. I think that the way this year, I don't know if we'll see the Kings be such a defensive team. Hopefully, it'll be David Rittich in there, and like I've said earlier, Matthews, Marner, Matthew Nyes have controlled play and generated chances specifically, as well as any line in the entire league. And I think they look really good. I think Nyes in particular looks really good and raises the upside of the other two. And then, yeah, like you said, the other thing is, I mean, it's a little scary because who knows if those are some of the guys that are fighting illness, but also the way that the roster's kind of built looking in or moving into this game. I think it's more likely than normal that we see them play big minutes. So I like Matthews to get out of his little slump here with a goal.
Perfect. All right, that does it for this short slate of games on Wednesday night. Our best bets came in on Sabres and Matthews anytime goal scorer. Some anytime goal scorers that we liked. In addition to that, Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Dylan Cozens. And we will be back again to give out more bets, preview the much more crowded slate on Thursday night. We'll be back recording that on Wednesday afternoon, so look for that then. Thank you for listening. Thank you for rating and subscribing. Thank you to our producer, Noah. Good luck with all your bets on Wednesday night.